Hello, everyone. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes CSI implementation group. Today is February 23, 2018. It is the last Friday before code freeze for Kubernetes on Monday. So let's make sure that everything that we want to get in is on track. Before we go through the task list, is there any updates anybody wants to give or any PRs or bugs to discuss? All right, cool. So we'll jump into the task list and hopefully we'll have everything on track. So moving CSI 0.1 to 0.2, there are a couple of major 0.2 issues currently remaining open. One is around credentials and another is about versioning the CSI packages. These are planned to close by end of day today, and once they do, we'll go ahead and make the corresponding changes on the Kubernetes side on Monday and get those merged. Those should be the last changes that we need. So that's on track. Moving mount propagation to beta is done. Volume attachments done. Moving volume source API to beta, I believe this got merged. Dokken approved it. Let's double check that. Yep. All right. Thank you, Vlad, for that.
Sure.
Go ahead and switch that to green. So as we go through this list, let's keep in mind what are the things that might not be on this list that we want to get done as well. So if there's anything that you think of, please shout it out. Update flag gates. Were you able to double check this, Vlad?
I'm perusing through it right now. I'll
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Making volume attributes first class. I believe this also got merged. Thank you to Felipe for all his work on that.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. So we can go ahead and switch that to green. Node authorizer limit, volume attachment access is done. CSI credentials is still in progress. The PR by Sergey is out. Jordan Liggett is taking a look at it. I think the last few questions are around node authorizer. And Sergey, you and I can talk about that offline after this meeting.
Okay.
Device plugin mechanism is still pending. If there's anybody on this thread who wants to go and take a look at that design, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I will take a look at that. Specifying file systems is green. Improve CSI version handling tests is green. End-to-end tests, since Luis is out, we're going to wait until after code freeze on it. We can get these in after code freeze. Volume attachment from polling to watch is good. Docker deploy is good. Topology is being punted to next quarter. Block device is being punted to next quarter. CSI mount device PR is out by David. I left him some feedback yesterday. I think he's going to take a look at that. So that's on track. And then finally, updating spec dependency. Those are the only known items that I'm tracking for the entry code change. This is what we have code freeze for on Monday. Is there anything else you guys know about that we should be tracking?
So I'm looking at the code that's in head right now. The default for the feature gate is true.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
That is awesome. All right. So then basically we have 3 PRs that are currently pending: credentials, device plugin, and device mount. And then we will expect one more on Monday, which is pushing 0.1 to 0.2 and picking up these new versioning changes and potentially any credential changes that go along with it. So I think we're good. On the CSI spec side, I think the probe stuff is now officially closed. Yeah. So the conclusion here was that the way that probe was previously defined was very confusing. And the only purpose of the probe call is to use it as a health check. There's a little write-up in here. So right here. There's 4 different things that people thought that a probe could be used for. One is some sort of initialization check. That's not the responsibility of the probe. That should be left to the plugin itself on the startup. The plugin should run its checks and exit with a non-zero exit code if the preconditions fail. Second thing is initialization configuration information. This is things like letting the probe know that it's running as controller or as node or whatever. Again, not the responsibility of probe. This should be information that's passed in via packaging deployment, either via environment variables, binary flags, or whatever. Third thing people wanted to use this was an RPC precondition check to verify that preconditions are met before we call out any CSI RPC. Some people were saying you call probe, and if probe returns okay, then you do a subsequent call like create volume. Problem with that is that between the check passing and the next call, it could fail. So probe should not be responsible for that. Instead, any check like that should just be part of the CSI RPC call from the plugins side. Lastly, periodic health monitoring to allow the CO to do something if the plugin is unhealthy. This is the sole purpose of the probe call. Think of it as from the Kubernetes side being able to connect it to a liveness probe. So you deploy your volume plugin and it exposes this endpoint that Kubernetes can then probe and use as a health monitor. And if it reports unhealthy, Kubernetes will restart the container automatically. We need to do work to enable this, but all of this work will be out of tree. It'll be around deployment of individual volume plugins. We're going to have to think about how we want to expose this because it requires exposing some endpoint to Kubernetes, and we don't want to expose the entire CSI endpoint, just a single call. So we'll have to think through that, but we can do that offline in parallel since it's not part of the core Kubernetes code. So we can go ahead and turn that green. Topology has been punted to next quarter, and the rest of these are green. I think that's all I want to talk about for this meeting. The changes to Kubernetes CSI repo, we can start discussing those next week after code freeze. If you have anything assigned there, please feel free to continue to work on those. Same thing for the CSI drivers. Other than that, I think that's all we have for today. We might need help on this first item because Sergey is working on a few things in parallel. He's working on the credential stuff. So we might need help moving these internal components and picking up the changes for the changes that are going to go in around versioning today. Would anybody be interested in helping with that?
What's involved with this? Is it?
It'll be updating the vendor directory to point to the latest version of head, and then picking up the changes that were made. I'm aware of 2 sets of changes that will need to be incorporated. One is versioning of packages. So I think they're trying to incorporate a version into the package name. We'll just need to, actually, I think for the Go bindings, it's still planned to be exposed as just CSI. So we're just, I believe we should just be able to update the vendor package. Actually, the latest proposal is getting rid of the per RPC version. So that means every single RPC needs to be updated to drop that field. Let's take a look at that real quick. right here. So if we look at, so get supported versions is gone altogether.
Oh, okay.
And
Also, well, that, I mean, that's a major.
yeah.
That's a
So,
okay.
Yeah, there are going to be major changes, especially, I mean, if you look at the external components, like pretty much attacher, provisioner, registrar, they will be impacted by the change, but the upcoming change, I think, to the CSI, like when we change the credential names and all that stuff.
So, do you plan to go into code slush with this, Saad?
I want to get this in for code freeze. So get this. It's going to merge Friday, like tonight. On the Kubernetes side, not the external component side.
Okay.
On the Kubernetes side, I want to have a PR ready by Monday. That basically addresses this on the Kubernetes core side. So here's the change that I was talking about. So if you look at any of these calls, the version is just being dropped from all those fields.
And then, so the version is now part of the
version is now part of the package. So if you look at, let's see, they're proposing, and if you're interested in this, Vlad, jump on this issue.
Yeah,
I think your input might be interesting there.
Absolutely. I'll definitely, I'll get this done.
Cool. That would be awesome. So if you take a look here, they're versioning the language, the bindings, the generated bindings.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that it's done is, I think we specify right here, go package CSI. So the package that's surfaced in CSI still has the same name, although the proto is versioned.
I see. The only, I can look for it, but I remember there's a slight gotchas when you're updating the vendor directory. So I'll just have to.
Yeah, Sergey has a trick that he uses for updating that seems to work well. He told it to David. He might be able to share that with you as well.
Okay. Because last time I had to. Anyway, yeah, Sergey, if you have a little trick that works faster than running that script.
Oh no, you have to run that script. Unfortunately,
okay.
there is no way around that.
All right.
So.
I think what you do, Sergey, is you go in and you copy the new version of this file in, and then you
Correct.
run the what's the script?
It's a update go deps.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll follow. I mean, I did it before. It's just
okay. I just want to make sure that this is ready to go on Monday once the stuff gets merged.
Yeah,
and I think that's the last set of changes for the entry side of things. And then post code freeze, we'll have one planned PR, which is basically moving to the official version, the version tag to 0.2, because currently we're pointed at head. And the delta on that PR should just be the dependency JSON. There shouldn't actually be any changes in terms of actual behavior.
Any idea when the CSI v2 will actually be tagged?
So right now the plan is tonight all the issues should be closed, all the remaining issues, and then at some point next week they'll send out an email saying, hey, we're planning to cut 0.2.
Okay.
Anybody disagree? And then they'll have 72 hours to agree or disagree, and then after 72 hours it'll get cut.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could look at this versioning PR and provide your input, that would be awesome. And that's it.
Saad?
Yes.
I had a kind of a crazy idea, to minimize the changes of this versioning. And I wanted to propose it, but then I thought maybe I should discuss it with you guys first. I mean, if we switch to V1, basically that would result in a huge change. I was wondering if we could maintain two identical kind of a namespaces, V1 and without. And then with the time, we can just deprecate the one that without V1 and leave V1 and then V2 and etc. In this case, I mean, we don't have to, I mean, we can still go with the V1 change, but it will not cause any collateral damage to the existing code. And it can be addressed gradually.
I like the idea, but the problem is if we do that and then we ship beta, people are going to start using that version, right? So then when they write volume plugins, they're going to have to accept that version, which is going to be basically obsolete.
Okay, all right, but I mean, we could still say, like in the documentation, guys, for a future proof, use this like the second clone of the existing version, so like V1 version.
V1. Yeah, I mean, like we can tell them to use V1, but if the Kubernetes code doesn't understand it, then effectively we're at the unversioned version, and that means that we're using an obsolete version. So I think the thing is, like for this 0.2, the hope is that all the crazy big changes that are causing everything to break get in, and hopefully it's the last big breaking changes release. And then from here on out, it should be just additive releases. So it will be painful. We have to go in and update a lot of stuff. But hopefully it's the last time that we have to have such a big surgery.
I mean, the good thing is in the internal plugin, those changes should be concentrated in
CSI
one file.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So once we get that, everything else should be hopefully seamless.
But I think Sergey's point is that we also have to go in and update all the external components that we rely on. And until all of them are updated, we're actually in this broken state where we can't do an end-to-end test. The good thing is that we don't have to get all of that in by Monday. The only thing we need to get in by Monday is the Kubernetes changes. And then we have a couple of weeks to go ahead and do the remainder of the changes in all the external components and the external drivers, and then do end-to-end testing before the actual release.
All right. I was going to say I'm going to start as soon as this call is over.
Awesome.
So we can at least have something moving.
Yeah.
Okay, talking again about the external things, that Go CSI, which was supported by the code team, we need to decide what to do, because from the code team, I don't think that anybody will take care of converting it to the latest CSI spec changes. And I was wondering if we should just fork it and dump it in the CSI test and maintain ourselves.
Before you do that, I would reach out to Andrew. I'll bring that up too to see what, because I don't know, but it's a good point. But definitely reach out to him to see if what's the momentum there. And I'll drop him a note, him along with Clint.
Yeah, I think the Dell team said that they might open source some of these components.
They definitely. Well, Go CSI was always open source.
Or put under a foundation or something like that.
Right. So I'll double check to see if, because I know Rexray was one of the things that's definitely getting moved over. I'll double check to see if Go CSI is part of the packages that are getting put under foundation.
Vlad, if you could, that's one part, and the second part, if they plan to support it, if they plan to keep it in sync with the changes in the CSI spec, that's the bigger concern.
Right. Yeah, it is. I'll as I'm talking to you, I'm gonna post a note here and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and if it ends up being that there is not a good home for it, I think it's a very good project for adoption by this group, if not CSI itself. That could end up, permanent home for it where it could be maintained more long term.
Okay.
But whatever makes sense, we can follow. You can follow up offline.
Okay.
All right. I think that's all that is on the agenda. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about?
I think that's it.
All right. Cool. Thank you very much. And we'll meet on Monday and hopefully we get everything in for Code Freeze. Thank you very much for all your hard work this quarter.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.